Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Hannah Talks About Things. So I woke up this morning and in response to the self-centered fear video about fear of what people think, etc., I wanted to post like a very real update about walking through criticism and shame and people being kind of assholes. And so I figured the most empowering way for me to do that is also make a video about it. I know often I'm making videos about things that I have worked through and then I teach and lecture on and present and all that. But the reality is this stuff still comes up a lot. So yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, I, paid for a promotional ad for one of my videos just to get more, viewers and hopefully help more people. And of course, there's this great quote that says who you are on the internet and who you are in real life are not two different people. Please be kind. And I love that quote. I think I just butchered it, but, so of course, kind of as expected, but walking through shame and people being assholes and criticism is so much easier said than done. And I had just done this video about fear of what people think, and no one on this planet thinks about us as much as we think about ourselves, etc. But the reality is, so I open up Facebook and I have a bunch of notifications from random people that I don't know that commented on that video, and they were mean. I mean, mean comments. One of them was, and I deleted them right away. I wish I didn't, so I could just keep them up there and acknowledge the discomfort. But somebody wrote, and especially it really harped on one of those biggest insecurities of I'm young, what do I have to share, etc. And this guy, I'm assuming from England, commented, she's still got cradle marks on her arse, what does she know about life? And I was like, oh my god. And someone else commented, nobody cares, love. And then someone else posted a meme of cavemen kind of evolving to current day man, but the current day man is facing the caveman and says, turn around, we fucked things up. And I was just and those were the only comments. And so it's interesting because again, I really convinced myself at times that listen, what you think of me doesn't affect me, and I'm not still going to be thinking about criticism, it doesn't affect my self-worth, etc. And then this morning, my first response was delete these comments, and then just sitting in shame and insecurity. And I think it's really important to talk about that and identify that we can teach this stuff for a living, and we can really feel strong and empowered and self-worth at times, but that doesn't mean that those shame trains, those narratives aren't going to come back up. And it's important to acknowledge them and walk through them and say, okay, I see you. Just because I'm feeling this discomfort and this kind of weight on my chest of fear and inadequacy and insecurity doesn't mean that I'm a fraud. It means I'm a human being, and how can I really walk through that and acknowledge it and stay vulnerable. And it reminds me of the Theodore Roosevelt quote, it is not the critic who counts. And the quote is The Man in the Arena, that's the name of it, and I don't know it by heart, but it's something along the lines of, it's not the critic who counts, the person who, laughs at the doer of deeds. Essentially, why am I creating space for people sitting behind a computer screen or who are not also putting themselves out in this arena, which is super uncomfortable. If you go to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel and look at the first video I ever made from a couple months ago, I am freaking out. I'm I'm really uncomfortable. I'm going to take off my glasses because I don't want to look at the camera. And it's so, and it's only been a couple months and I'm hey, what's up? I'm going to make another video. Am I in sweatpants? You betcha. But the reality is, it's not the critic who counts. And I don't want to ask directions from someone who's never been there. And so keeping that in mind, if you are trying to put yourself out in some way of being vulnerable or whatever it is, the people that are mocking you or criticizing you or judging you or talking shit about you, are they also willing to put themselves in this arena, or are they sitting on the sidelines judging? And I have to remember that when I'm doing the same thing, right? When I'm judging someone for being judgmental, I'm no better. I'm still judging. And so it's just important to identify and walk through. And for me, making this video right now is an important kind of practice for me to also stay accountable. I can talk a great game and I don't believe that it's inauthentic, but when a lot of what I talk about in these videos goes out the window in an instant and I just feel insecure and inadequate, I want to acknowledge that too. It's okay to not be okay all the time. It's okay to have a shitty experience and feel kind of bruised and beaten down, And if you're watching this and thinking get over it, it's just a comment, okay, I hear you, but things also affect people in different ways. And like, I don't know, even just making this video and acknowledging it and talking about it out loud, it's like, yeah, of course that affects me. Like, of course it does. And how I walked through that was I deleted the comments and then I sat with it and felt really shitty. And then I talked about it with someone in my home. And then I was making another video about how to find a therapist. And as soon as I finished it, I was like, I'm going to make a video about what just happened too. Because Brene Brown has a great book called Rising Strong, and it's about how to get back up after you've fallen down, and that living open-heartedly and wholeheartedly means we're gonna get our asses kicked. She says that all the time. We're gonna get our asses kicked, but it's what we do with it. Can we get back up? Can we say, all right, wow, like there are people that think I am an absolute joke of a human being, and that's okay, because I know my worth today. And sometimes that worth is eclipsed with shame and inadequacy, but for the most part, that worth will keep shining through. And I'm not gonna just sit back and be like, oh, I'm gonna wait 10 years until I am older and people think that I have something to offer. Like, I'm not gonna do it. God damn, I feel good now. Anyway, it is Thanksgiving week. That's cool. If at any point anyone wants a specific topic to be written about or talked about, or you are struggling with something, like feel free to reach out. Send me an email. It's the best way. I don't really respond to Facebook messages because up until a couple minutes ago when I re-downloaded Facebook, I'm going to delete it off my phone again. And so I only really check Facebook from browsers. But send me an email. It's hannaheliserose@gmail.com. So that's HANNAHELISEROSE@gmail.com. And if there's a specific topic that you want me to potentially make a video on and talk about, like, get vulnerable, advocate for yourself, like, ask for what you need. This is why I do this. Like, I obviously don't make any money from making these YouTube videos yet, ? Probably just won't make any money. And like, that's okay. I'm doing this because I want to reach more people and hopefully have them identify with like, wow, it's okay to not be okay. Everything I'm experiencing is normal and it's possible to walk through it. And that's pretty badass. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving week. Bye.